What if the biggest obstacle in your life isn't other people, bad luck, or unfair circumstances, but you? What if the very thing holding you back from the life you want is the person you see in the mirror? It sounds harsh, but it's also freeing, because if you are the problem, you can also be the solution. This is the central message of The Mountain Is You. Your challenges, your struggles, your setbacks, they are not here to destroy you. They are here to transform you. The mountain you face in life isn't some external force. It's the habits you tolerate, the fears you let control you, the patterns you repeat. But here's the good news. Once you see the mountain for what it is, you can climb it. You can turn self-sabotage into the very fuel that powers your growth. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and tap the like button so you never miss an audiobook-style video like this. This simple action helps this message reach more people, and it tells YouTube you want more content that helps you overcome obstacles and grow stronger every day. Self-sabotage is one of the most frustrating things we experience. It's setting a goal, and then procrastinating on it. It's wanting love, but pushing people away. It's craving success, but finding ways to ruin your progress right when things are going well. We've all been there. The first step is realizing this isn't random. Self-sabotage is a signal, a clue that something deeper is going on inside you. At its core, self-sabotage is usually a form of protection. Your mind is trying to keep you safe. But safe from what? Safe from failure. Safe from rejection. Safe from change that feels scary. Safe from success that might demand more of you. Your brain is wired for survival, not happiness. So when you try to step outside your comfort zone, it triggers alarms. It whispers, "This is risky. Let's stay where it's safe." But staying safe often keeps you stuck in old patterns, stuck in old pain. The mountain you face is a reflection of what's unresolved inside you. If you constantly procrastinate, maybe you fear failure or success. If you repeat toxic relationship patterns, maybe you're reenacting an old wound. If you stay small and don't take opportunities, maybe you fear being seen. Every challenge is a mirror. It shows you where you need to grow, what you need to face, what you need to heal. Here's the empowering part. Pain is a teacher. Instead of avoiding it, sit with it. What is this pain trying to tell me? What is it asking me to change? What version of me is it trying to create? When you face pain head-on, it loses its power to control you. It becomes a compass pointing you toward growth. Imagine a climber standing at the base of a huge mountain. At first, it feels impossible. Too high. Too steep. But step by step, day by day, they climb. They face storms, setbacks, exhaustion, but they keep going. And when they reach the top, they realize something profound. The mountain didn't just change their view, it changed them. They are not the same person who stood at the bottom. This is what your personal mountain is doing for you. It is shaping you into the person capable of living the life you desire. To stop sabotaging yourself, you must first see yourself clearly. Self-awareness is like turning on the light in a dark room. You can't fix what you can't see. Try this exercise. Write down one area where you keep getting in your own way. Then ask, what might happen if I succeed here? What benefit am I secretly getting from staying stuck? You might be surprised at the answers. This is uncomfortable but powerful. Sometimes we stay stuck because we're getting something from it. Procrastination gives us temporary relief from pressure. Staying in a bad relationship keeps us from being alone. Not chasing our dreams gives us an excuse to avoid failure. Once you see the hidden benefit, you can make a different choice. Pause for a moment. Think about your own mountain. What problem or pattern has been showing up again and again in your life? Instead of seeing it as a curse, try seeing it as an invitation. An invitation to rise. An invitation to grow. An invitation to become the strongest version of yourself. Self-sabotage often hides under the surface, disguised as logic, procrastination, or perfectionism. It tells you that you're just waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, or the right plan before you move forward. But deep down, you know that waiting has cost you months or even years of progress. The truth is, you don't need perfect timing, you need courage. The courage to take one small, imperfect step forward, even if you still feel afraid. The journey of climbing your mountain is not about eliminating fear. It's about learning to carry fear with you while still moving forward. Fear will always whisper in your ear, warning you about what could go wrong, but you have to teach yourself to ask, what if it goes right? When you start asking better questions, you start getting better answers. Instead of asking, why do I always mess this up? You can ask, what lesson am I meant to learn here? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You can ask, how is this happening for me? Everything changes when you shift from seeing yourself as a victim of life to a student of life. The challenges you face stop being punishments and start becoming teachers. Each setback becomes a piece of wisdom, each obstacle a lesson in resilience. One of the most powerful things you can do on this journey is to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the mistakes, the delays, the times you gave up on yourself. You were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing the behavior. It means releasing the weight of guilt so you can move forward freely. When you hold on to guilt, you stay chained to the past. But when you forgive yourself, you reclaim your power. You say to yourself, yes, I stumbled, but I'm not staying down. I'm getting back up. The mountain you face will test you, but it will also strengthen you. Think about it. Climbing a mountain builds muscle, builds endurance, builds character. The very struggle that exhausts you is the struggle that shapes you. Without the resistance, there is no growth. This is why the path to transformation is never easy. If it were easy, everyone would be living at their highest potential. But your struggles are proof that you are on the right path. The discomfort you feel is the sign that you're growing. Most people run from discomfort, but the ones who succeed are the ones who learn to sit with it. Discomfort is not the enemy, it is the signal that you are on the edge of transformation. Growth happens outside the comfort zone, and if you stay where it's safe, you stay exactly where you are. Another key to overcoming self-sabotage is breaking the cycles you've been repeating. Pay attention to the patterns in your life. Do you keep ending up in the same kind of job you hate? The same type of relationship that hurts you? The same cycle of starting and quitting your goals? Patterns repeat because there is a lesson you haven't learned yet. The universe will keep sending you the same mountain until you learn to climb it. Once you do, that pattern ends. You break the cycle and you free yourself from repeating the same pain over and over again. To break a cycle, you must first become conscious of it. Write down your most common patterns, in work, love, health, money, and ask yourself, what do these have in common? What belief is driving these choices? Often, at the root of self-sabotage is a limiting belief. A belief like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve success, or, if I try, I'll just fail anyway. These beliefs usually formed a long time ago, often in childhood, but they've been silently running the show ever since. Once you identify a limiting belief, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this actually true? Where's the evidence that it's false? Then replace it with an empowering belief. For example, I am capable of learning anything I need to succeed, or, I am worthy of the life I desire. Beliefs are powerful because they act like filters on your reality. When you believe you're not good enough, you unconsciously look for proof of that belief, and ignore evidence to the contrary. But when you change the belief, you change the filter. Suddenly, you start noticing opportunities, support, and proof that you are capable. The work of climbing your mountain is not just about action, it's about inner transformation. You have to become the person who can hold the life you are asking for. If you want a healthy relationship, you must heal the parts of you that expect abandonment or sabotage connection. If you want financial abundance, you must shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of possibility. Transformation is not about adding more, it's about letting go. Letting go of old identities, old stories, old excuses. Every time you let go, you lighten your load and the climb becomes easier. Think about the last time you made a real change in your life. Maybe it was leaving a toxic friendship, changing careers, or setting a boundary. At first it felt scary, maybe even wrong. But over time it felt liberating. That is the power of letting go. The person you were before could not have handled the life you are stepping into. That's why the mountain has been here all along, to prepare you, to strengthen you, to carve you into the person who is ready for the next level. So take a deep breath. Look at your mountain. And remind yourself, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. Resilience is the skill that allows you to keep going even when everything inside you wants to quit. It's not about never falling, it's about always getting back up. Think of resilience like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. And the way you train resilience is by facing challenges instead of avoiding them. Every time you confront a fear, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're doing a rep for your mental strength. So, how do you build this resilience in everyday life? Start small. Don't wait for a big crisis to practice being strong. You can practice by doing little things that stretch your limits. Waking up when you said you would, saying no when you mean no, finishing that project even when you don't feel like it. These tiny victories build trust with yourself. And that trust is crucial because self-sabotage often comes from a lack of self-trust. When you break promises to yourself over and over again, you stop believing your own words. You stop believing you can rely on yourself. But every time you keep a small promise, even something as simple as, "I will drink water first thing in the morning," you're proving to yourself that your word matters. And as that trust grows, the sabotage shrinks. Another important part of overcoming self-sabotage is regulating your emotions. Many times we sabotage ourselves not because we want to fail, but because we don't know what to do with our feelings. We get anxious so we procrastinate. We feel sad so we avoid working on what matters. We feel fear so we distract ourselves. Emotional regulation is the ability to feel big feelings without letting them control your actions. One powerful way to do this is to name what you're feeling. Instead of saying, "I'm a mess," say, "I feel anxious right now." That simple shift creates space between you and the feeling. Once you name it, breathe through it. Take 3 slow, deep breaths and remind yourself, feelings are temporary. They pass like waves if you let them. You don't have to act on every emotion you feel. When you stop reacting to every emotional trigger, you gain power. You gain the ability to act based on your values, not just your moods. And that's where transformation happens, when you start choosing what serves you instead of what soothes you in the moment. Another practice that helps is journaling. Writing down your thoughts is like emptying a cluttered room. It gives you clarity. It helps you see the patterns in your thinking and understand why you do what you do. Try this. Each night, write down one way you sabotaged yourself today, even something small, and one way you honored your growth. Over time, you'll see your self-sabotage shrink and your progress grow. You can also use visualization to overcome sabotage. Picture yourself as the person you want to become, confident, consistent, disciplined. See yourself taking the actions you know you need to take. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined scenario and a real one. Visualization programs your subconscious mind to believe it's possible, and once it believes, it helps you take aligned action. But none of this will matter unless you are willing to feel discomfort. Self-sabotage is often just an attempt to escape discomfort, to avoid the awkwardness, the fear, the effort. But the truth is, discomfort is where the magic is. Every time you choose to stay with discomfort instead of running from it, you level up. You teach your brain that you can survive it, and not just survive but thrive. The mountain begins to look less like an enemy and more like an ally. One of the best ways to reframe discomfort is to see it as evidence that you are growing. Instead of saying, "This is so hard, I must be failing," say, "This is so hard, I must be stretching." Even your failures can become fuel. When something doesn't work out, don't use it as evidence that you're doomed. Use it as data. Ask, "What did this teach me? How can I adjust and try again?" This is how successful people think. They don't avoid failure. They mine it for wisdom. They use every mistake as a stepping stone toward mastery. So here's a question for you. What if you stopped seeing yourself as broken and started seeing yourself as becoming? You are not stuck because you're weak, you're stuck because you're learning. And sometimes learning takes time. Sometimes you have to go through the same lesson a few times before it sticks. That doesn't make you a failure, it makes you human. If you keep showing up for yourself even imperfectly, change will come. Every step you take up that mountain counts, even if some days you slide back a little. What matters is that you keep climbing. Remember, transformation is not an overnight event. It's a gradual shift. At first, it feels like nothing is happening. But then one day you look back and realize you are no longer the person you used to be. You respond differently. You think differently. You choose differently. That's the moment you realize the climb was worth it. One of the most powerful tools for overcoming self-sabotage is learning to set boundaries. Most self-sabotage doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in environments that don't support our growth. It happens when we say yes to things we should say no to, when we spend time with people who drain us, when we allow distractions to crowd out our priorities. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They keep out what doesn't serve you and let in what nourishes you. Without them, you become overwhelmed, scattered, and vulnerable to falling back into old patterns. Start by identifying where your energy leaks are. Who or what takes more from you than they give? Where do you feel resentment, frustration, or exhaustion? Those feelings are signals that a boundary needs to be set. Setting a boundary doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as saying, "I'm not available tonight," or "I can't take on this project right now." It can be unfollowing accounts that make you feel small or rearranging your schedule so your most important work gets your best energy. When you protect your time and energy, you create space for the things that truly matter. You create a supportive environment that makes sabotage less tempting. And speaking of environment, the spaces you live and work in are shaping you every day, often without you realizing it. If your environment is cluttered, noisy, or full of distractions, it's much harder to stay focused and consistent. Design your environment to support your goals. If you want to read more, keep a book by your bed. If you want to eat healthier, keep fruit on the counter instead of junk food. If you want to exercise, lay out your workout clothes the night before. Small changes in your environment lead to big changes in your behavior. Why? Because they remove friction. They make the right choice the easy choice. And when the right choice is easy, you're far less likely to sabotage yourself. You don't have to rely on willpower as much. Your surroundings are doing some of the work for you. Another crucial shift is replacing self-sabotaging habits with self-supporting ones. Habits are the building blocks of your life. Every day you are either building a future you love or reinforcing a cycle that keeps you stuck. Start by identifying your top 3 self-sabotaging habits. Maybe it's procrastinating, scrolling for hours, staying up too late, avoiding hard conversations. Then choose one to focus on first. Don't try to change everything at once. That leads to burnout. For each sabotaging habit, design a replacement habit. For example, if you procrastinate by scrolling your phone, replace that with a 2-minute rule. Tell yourself you only have to work for 2 minutes. Most of the time, once you start, you keep going. If you stay up too late watching TV, create a bedtime ritual. Dim the lights, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, read a few pages of a book and go to bed at the same time each night. Over time, this becomes automatic. The key is consistency, not perfection. You will slip up sometimes. Everyone does. The difference between people who transform their lives and those who stay stuck is that they get back on track quickly. They don't wait for Monday or next month or next year. They simply say, "Okay, I messed up, but I'm choosing again right now." Every choice is a chance to realign with who you want to be. You are never more than one choice away from being back on track. Here's another powerful concept: self-compassion. Many people think beating themselves up will make them improve, but the opposite is true. Shame doesn't inspire growth, it paralyzes it. When you speak to yourself with kindness, you create a safe inner environment for change. Instead of saying, "I'm such a failure," say, "I didn't do my best today, but I can try again tomorrow." Instead of saying, "I can't believe I messed this up again," say, "I'm learning." This is part of the process. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love. You would never tell someone you care about that they're hopeless or broken, so stop saying it to yourself. Self-compassion doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook. It means holding yourself accountable without cruelty. It means staying committed to your growth even when you stumble. And here's something most people don't realize: the more you support yourself emotionally, the less likely you are to sabotage yourself. Why? Because sabotage often comes from pain you're trying to numb, avoid, or escape. When you meet that pain with compassion, it begins to heal. And healed pain doesn't have to run your life anymore. This is the deeper work of climbing your mountain. It's not just about reaching the top, it's about becoming whole along the way. Every act of self-discipline, every boundary you set, every small habit you stick with, these are bricks you are laying on the path to your highest self. There will be days you feel tired. There will be days you want to quit. But if you can remember why you started, if you can keep your eyes on the bigger vision of the life you are building, you will find the strength to take one more step. And that's all you have to do. Just one more step. Because the truth is, transformation rarely comes in one big leap. It comes one step at a time. One choice at a time. One day at a time. And slowly, almost without realizing it, you look back and see that the person you used to be is far behind you. The mountain is not behind you, it's within you now. It has become part of who you are. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop focusing only on what you want to do and start focusing on who you want to become. This is called an identity shift, and it's one of the deepest ways to eliminate self-sabotage. When you see yourself as someone who always procrastinates, your brain looks for ways to keep that identity true. But when you begin to see yourself as someone who keeps promises to myself, your actions start aligning with that new story. Your brain wants to stay consistent with your identity. If your identity is, I'm lazy, you will act in lazy ways to keep that belief alive. But if your identity is, I'm disciplined, even on hard days you will feel pulled to act in ways that match that belief. So instead of saying, I want to be healthy, say, I am the kind of person who takes care of my body. Instead of saying, I want to stop procrastinating, say, I am the kind of person who starts things immediately. This shift seems small, but it is powerful. You are no longer just chasing a goal, you are becoming the person who naturally lives that goal out. And here's the secret. Once your identity changes, your habits become automatic. You don't have to force them anymore. You don't have to fight with yourself every day. You simply act in alignment with who you are. But identity work takes time. You have to keep proving to yourself over and over that you are this new version of you. Every choice you make is a vote for the person you want to become. Even the smallest choices count. Drinking a glass of water instead of soda? That's a vote for the healthy me. Writing one page of your book instead of scrolling? That's a vote for the focused, disciplined me. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep casting more votes for your future self than for your past self. Along with identity shift, you need to develop an unstoppable mindset, the kind that doesn't crumble at the first sign of resistance. Most people give up not because the goal is impossible, but because they underestimate how hard it will be. Success takes longer than we think. It requires more persistence than we expect. The people who make it to the top of the mountain are not always the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to stop climbing. When things get hard, remind yourself, this is normal. This is part of the climb. It's not a sign that you should quit. It's a sign that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Another important mindset shift is to stop comparing your journey to others. You don't know what mountain they're climbing or how long they've been climbing it. Your job is to focus on your own path, your own progress. Comparison is another form of sabotage. It distracts you from your own growth and convinces you that you're behind, when in reality you are right on time. Measure your progress by who you were yesterday, not by who someone else is today. If you are even 1% better than you were last week, you are winning. To strengthen this mindset, practice gratitude daily. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. It rewires your brain to notice progress instead of problems. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for, even small things. Gratitude trains your mind to see possibility instead of limitation, which is essential when you're climbing a hard mountain. Another key piece of this puzzle is resilience rituals, daily habits that keep you grounded and focused no matter what life throws at you. This could be meditation, journaling, exercise, prayer, or simply taking 5 minutes each morning to set your intention for the day. These rituals are like anchors. They keep you steady when storms come. They remind you of who you are and where you are going even when things get chaotic. As you climb higher, you will notice that your perspective changes. What once felt impossible now feels natural. The problems that used to consume you now seem small. This is because you have grown stronger. But don't stop climbing just because things feel better. Keep going. There is always another level of clarity, strength, and freedom available to you. And here's something beautiful. As you climb, you inspire others. People around you notice the change. They see you breaking patterns, showing up differently, living with more intention, and they start to believe that they can do it too. This is how your personal mountain becomes a gift to the world. By conquering it, you light the way for others. One of the most overlooked parts of transformation is what happens after the breakthrough. Many people think that once they conquer their mountain, life will be smooth sailing forever. But the truth is, new levels bring new mountains. Growth is not a one-time event, it is a lifelong process. The key is to learn how to sustain the progress you've made even when things get comfortable again. One of the best ways to do this is by setting new standards for yourself. Your old standards got you where you are, but they won't take you where you're going next. Raise the bar. Decide what you will no longer tolerate, in your habits, your relationships, your work. This is not about being hard on yourself. It's about protecting the progress you've made. If you've built the habit of speaking kindly to yourself, don't slip back into self-criticism when you have a bad day. If you've set boundaries that keep you healthy, don't drop them the moment someone pushes back. Remember, every mountain you climb changes you. You are not the same person you were when you started this journey. So don't treat yourself like that person anymore. You've outgrown them. But sustaining growth doesn't just mean holding the line, it also means celebrating how far you've come. Many of us move so quickly to the next goal that we forget to acknowledge our progress. Take time to pause and celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Write them down. Share them with someone you trust. Let yourself feel proud. Pride in progress is not arrogance, it is fuel. It reminds you why the climb was worth it. Inevitably, there will still be setbacks. You will have days when you feel like you are sliding down the mountain, when old habits creep back in, when fear and doubt try to take over again. This is normal. This is part of the process. Instead of letting these moments discourage you, use them as checkpoints. Ask yourself, what triggered this slip? What can I learn from it? How can I support myself better next time? The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never fall, they are the ones who recover the fastest. They don't waste weeks beating themselves up. They notice, adjust, and get back on track. You can do the same. Every time you get back up, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your past, stronger than your fear, stronger than the version of you that used to give up. As you continue this journey, it's important to surround yourself with the right people. You become like the people you spend the most time with, so choose wisely. Find those who encourage your growth, who hold you accountable, who celebrate your wins and challenge you to go further. And remember, you are allowed to outgrow people. Just like you outgrow old habits, you may outgrow certain friendships, environments, or communities. This doesn't make you unkind, it makes you honest. As you keep climbing, keep asking yourself, what is the next version of me calling me to do? What is my next mountain? This question keeps you from becoming stagnant. It keeps you expanding, stretching, evolving. And with each new climb, you will notice something powerful. The fear gets quieter. The resistance gets weaker. The voice that used to tell you, you can't, starts whispering, maybe you can. Eventually it becomes, of course you can. You've done it before. Because that's the truth, you have done it before. You have faced hard things. You have survived storms you thought would break you. You have walked through fire and come out stronger. So trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust that the mountain you are facing now is not here to destroy you. It is here to build you. The mountain is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your trainer, your ally. And when you reach the top, when you stand there looking back at the path you climbed, you will realize something incredible. The mountain was never just in front of you. It was inside you. And by climbing it, you have become someone new. Someone stronger. Someone freer. Someone who no longer sabotages themselves, because you have learned to turn that sabotage into power. You are not the same person you were when you began listening to this. You are braver now. You are clearer now. You are stronger now. So take this strength and go climb the next mountain. And the next. And the next. Because you are no longer afraid of the mountain. You have become the mountain.